The Bodhisattva Vajrapani is a character out of the Mahayana Sutras, along with other famous bodhisattvas such as Manjushri, Lokeshvara, Maitreya, Samantabhadra, and others. And so in art, we have a lot of different types of representation, primarily painting and also sculpture. Now, Vajrapani is also well represented in Vajrayana Buddhism, not just Mahayana Buddhism. So in Mahayana Buddhism, figures such as Vajrapani, Lokeshvara, etc., they're characters from the sutras. They're interlocutors with Shakyamuni Buddha and others. And they're basically human. And they have one face, two arms, peaceful in appearance. So when we look at sculpture, there's no way we can recognize Vajrapani separate from any other bodhisattva, generic bodhisattva, except one thing. Vajrapani has the attribute of a Vajra scepter. And in the peaceful appearance of Vajrapani, it's often held in the left hand. And there's no specific way it's held. It can be held in the lap, it can be held upraised, it can be held closer to the heart. There's no specific way. Because this is, Mahayana has non-iconic art. It's not meant to be static as for meditational purposes. It's up to the artist to determine how they choose to depict Vajrapani. Now, with Vajrayana Buddhism, Vajrapani becomes a meditational deity. He takes on that role. And rather than being understood to be a bodhisattva, he takes on the role of being a realized Buddha. And he has many different forms in Vajrayana Buddhism. Primarily, they're wrathful forms. And they can also be from any of the four levels of Tantra, any of the four classifications of Tantra. So we have many different forms, and they can only really be recognized in some cases by the Vajra scepter. But other deities also can hold the Vajra scepter besides Vajrapani in Vajrayana Buddhism. So it's not such an easy matter. With the simple versions, the Mahayana versions of Vajrapani, we can generally recognize who it is. And there isn't too much confusion because we also have to understand that the deity Vajrasattva doesn't exist within the Mahayana system. He exists within the Vajrayana meditational deity system. So if we see very peaceful, very animated, very dynamic sculpture of a character holding a Vajra with no bell, and the Vajra's in the left hand, then it will be Vajrapani, not Vajrasattva. Now, for the Vajrayana figures, they really have to be understood through learning about the compendiums of meditational deities, the texts that list all the different types of meditational deities. And there you'll find lists of different types of Vajrapani, how they appear, what their mandala looks like, how many retinue deities they have. And it is really only through that avenue that one can really understand the meditational forms of Vajrapani. And also keeping in mind that once you're in the Vajrayana realm, then there can be a great deal of confusion with many other deities, such as Vajrasattva, Vajravidarana. There's many other deities that are similar in appearance to the meditational forms of Vajrapani. So it has to be looked at carefully, and it has to be looked at through the compendiums and learning what the different forms and what the attributes are for the different types of Vajrapani.